All right. Well, hello everyone. Just one more adventure or misadventure in beer brewing today with Father Justin. The deacons preached last Sunday, and I'll be on vacation this Sunday, so I'm not going to upload a homily for a little while anyway. But I just moved up from 1 gallon brews to 5 gallon brews, and my very first attempt was definitely a misadventure so far, and today I'm trying it out. I'm calling it the Sludge. So I get my brand new equipment and I start cooking, and I'm following the recipe. I steep the grains, that's step one. Then you crank up the heat in the kettle to boiling point, so 210, 212 degrees Fahrenheit. And takes a while to get 7 gallons of water or so up to that temperature, so that you have enough left for a 5 gallon end product. And I get it up to boiling, and I start the 1 hour boiling process, and the power cut out in my entire apartment complex 15 minutes after the boiling began. And I knew from the other times the power has gone out here that it wasn't going to come back on anytime soon. So I didn't know what else to do. I put the cover on the kettle, and I'm like, all right, well, I'll keep it really hot for 70 minutes and maybe something will happen. And then after that, I didn't put the spigot on my carboy quite tight enough. So I pour a ton of this sludge into the carboy, and it started leaking. Not a ton, but enough that it's not gonna last the whole 2 weeks in the fermenter. No choice, gotta pull out the spigot, let all the boiling hot fluid pour into the sink. It was a little burny, but I got through it just fine. Then I rinsed out the carboy, put the spigot on tighter, and then because I had so much liquid that I didn't boil away, I actually had a solid maybe 2 gallons of extra fluid in the kettle. So I filled the carboy, the fermenter, with what was remaining, because it's either that or let it go down the drain. So I'll show you what it looked like in the storage unit in the basement where I keep it. Because you see, I had this 2 gallons of liquid. I let it cool down, and I figured, well, I've got some extra yeast. I'm just gonna put some yeast in there, see what happens, and I'm just gonna try again the next day. So, as of this recording, I have 3 other 5 gallon brews that are going fine. This is the first one I'm gonna taste, but it looks like my first misadventure did not repeat itself. The power certainly didn't shut off again, but I pitched the yeast and it activated. So, at least chemically speaking, what was in that carboy was beer enough for the yeast. So I'll show you what that looked like after the fermentation had been going for a little while. It was about 2 weeks before this actual end product video. So let me cut away. Okay, so before we pop open the bottle, this was taken about 2-ish weeks before that. Just to give context for color, I've got some beautiful stout that'll be ready to be drunk in about a week and a half. So that's coming up. We've got a beautiful 1 gallon IPA that's well on its way. I just brewed this about 2 days ago, so the fermentation's just beginning. But as you can see, the chemistry is going, and it's a beautiful color. Then I've got my 5 gallons of Belgian Pale. And this is the one I did correctly the second time, and I'm loving the color. So this is gonna be good when it's time. What I'm opening now, again, this is 2 weeks ago. This is the Sludge. It was my first attempt at the Belgian Pale, but because power went out in my apartment, I didn't finish the boil. So I salvaged 2 gallons, long story about why it was 2 gallons instead of the full 6 or 5. But I gave it a try and I let the yeast, I had an extra bit of yeast hanging around. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pitch the yeast. I'll see what happens. And the yeast definitely activated. So I don't know what's going to be, what this stuff is going to taste like. I'm calling it the Sludge. But as you can see, the color difference alone has me a little worried. This is definitely what a Belgian Pale should look like in terms of color. But again, chemically speaking, what I put in that fermenter is beer enough to fool the yeast. So let's get back to the kitchen. Okay, that's enough preamble. Let's see if I'm gonna poison myself on YouTube unintentionally. And for the record, again, I want to use at least one plastic bottle every time I brew, because I can squeeze the bottle and I can tell that it's carbonated. If I only use glass, I don't actually have that advantage. So here we go. And I'm pretty sure this is going to taste awful, but I want to give it a go. I just don't know what to think. Not gonna lie, the color looks nice. This was meant to be a Belgian Pale, and it's certainly carbonated well enough. Here's to my health. It's not bad. Certainly doesn't deserve any awards. I am not dumping this down the drain. That is the most delicious flavor I have experienced in quite some time from something that was definitely a failure in the making. Failure rarely tastes this delicious. So, you know what, to my fellow amateur beer brewers, if you ever have the choice between giving up and dumping it all down the drain, or letting a bad brew go to limp along to its finish line, I say give it a go. The end product may not be perfect, may not be what you were going for, but it just might be deliciously drinkable. Thanks everyone for watching. See you when I get back from vacation.